If you're sick of feeling insecure in shorts and constantly covering up your legs, this video is for you. Because believe me, I used to literally plan my outfits around hiding my legs. I'd avoid beach days, wear pants in 90-degree weather, and deal with constant thigh chafing. If you're like me, genetically blessed / cursed with dominant legs, you know the struggle. Stubborn fat, cellulite, and feeling like nothing works no matter how much you diet or train. So in this video, I'm breaking down exactly how I finally reduced my cellulite without spending a single dollar on creams, detoxes, or massages. And what actually worked went completely against everything I thought I knew. Stay till the end because this one shift changed everything about how my legs looked. So what is cellulite? Quick science lesson, because once you understand this, the next steps will actually make sense. Cellulite is just fat sitting underneath your skin that pushes through that connective tissue, which causes that dimpling effect. And it's actually way more common than you might think. Around 80 to 90% of women have cellulite after puberty, and it's not a sign of being unhealthy, lazy, or out of shape. So if you've ever lost weight and still had cellulite, this is why. And I'll show you what I changed later that finally fixed that disconnect. But first, let me take you back. My legs were always my biggest insecurity. Growing up doing ballet, I was surrounded by girls with long, lean legs. And there I was, short, stocky, and pale. My dance teachers would critique me, and I remember staring in the mirror and thinking, I'm just not built like them. Everyone in my family would always say, we have big legs, it's genetics. So I thought that there was nothing I could do about it. But then I discovered dieting. I dropped a ton of weight, but I still hated my legs. Honestly, even more, because I thought being smaller would fix everything, but of course it didn't. Then I started working out because everyone said it would tone my body. And lifting did help me build muscle, but once I started eating to grow my glutes, my cellulite actually got worse. I remember looking at my legs like, I'm training harder than ever. Why do they look worse? That's when I realized it wasn't about losing or gaining weight. It was about how I was training and fueling. And once I changed that, everything clicked. So let's talk about what actually worked. If you carry more weight in your lower body, you are blessed. Because when you train correctly, that same area that holds fat can actually build muscle that completely transforms how your legs look. Bonus if you're petite, because a little muscle growth can make a huge visual difference. First, I changed how I lifted. No more ego lifting. No more throwing on heavy weights and losing form. I started focusing on 8 to 12 reps with perfect engagement. That's the sweet spot for muscle growth. Focus on form and film yourself. If the weight isn't slowing down on your last couple reps, you have some more in the tank. Second, I started focusing on training hamstrings. I used to ignore them and only focus on glutes. But once I started hitting hamstrings and especially focusing on that glute ham thigh area, the back of my legs started looking so much tighter and more well balanced. Now I start every glutes and hamstrings day with seated hamstring curls to wake up the muscle before moving into hip thrusts and RDLs. 3, I adjusted my training frequency. I went from 3 leg days to 2, 1 glutes and hamstrings day and 1 quad focus day with a glute finisher. Cutting back on frequency made my sessions way more intense and my recovery better. 4, I swapped most of my free weight exercises for machines. Machines let me isolate specific muscles and push heavier with better control. A sample leg day for me looks like seated hamstring curls, machine hip thrusts, Smith machine RDLs, Bulgarian split squats, and kickbacks. Once I did that, my legs started visibly transforming. Once your training is locked in, nutrition is what actually changes the game. I used to think carbs or sugar cause cellulite, but that is actually not what the science says. Here's the truth. You can't spot reduce fat. You reduce cellulite by improving your overall body composition, meaning losing some fat while building some muscle. That means eating in a slight calorie deficit, around 250 to 500 calories below maintenance, prioritizing protein, about 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, and minimizing super processed foods without being restrictive. Some studies say that refined carbs make cellulite worse, but it's more correlation than cause. The only proven factor is that higher body fat makes cellulite more visible. So instead of cutting carbs or going keto, focus on consistency. Lifting, protein, sleep, and recovery. But the biggest things that minimize my cellulite were actually the smallest habits. Things I used to overlook completely ended up making the biggest visual difference. First up, walking. This is my #1 game changer. 10,000 10,000 steps a day plus a calorie deficit plus weight training has done more for my legs than excessive Stairmaster or running ever did. My body feels tighter, my digestion is better, and I recover faster. And it is great for de-stressing. Number 2, tanning. This sounds silly, but a little tan actually makes a massive difference. I use a soft tanner that has caffeine in it, and I don't know if that last part makes any difference, but it definitely increases my confidence, especially in the gym. Number 3, alcohol and nicotine. When I used to vape and drink frequently, my body looked softer, not just from calories, but from inflammation, dehydration, and sleep issues. It's also possible that smoking actually worsens cellulite, so this is your sign to quit. You're also just more likely to make healthy choices when you associate yourself with being a healthy person and living a healthy lifestyle. Alcohol and nicotine literally made me tired and lazy, and cutting them out has made it so much easier to channel energy into my fitness. And 4th, self-love. You can want to change your body and still love it at the same time. I used to hate seeing cellulite on myself, but now when I see it, I just think, okay, it's normal, I'm a woman, I'm strong, and I'm still doing the work. Cellulite is normal. It's not something to fix. It's something you can choose to minimize while also building confidence from the inside out. Work on yourself to level up and boost confidence, not to mask insecurity. Don't do these things to love yourself. Love yourself and then do these things because you love yourself. You can love your body while also wanting to improve it. If you're someone who still feels insecure about your legs, I get it. But the difference isn't luck or genetics. It's these habits. If this video was helpful, make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.